Welcome to Senior Insights. My name is Cynthia. Come on in, grab a chair, bring your coffee, bring your muffins. We haven't been doing muffins lately. It's very important, especially because this is really an important subject that we're going to talk about. You'll probably be mad at me because I'm not doing anything funny today. I'll try and make it funny, but it's not a funny kind of subject. So, love, loss, and the TV remote. We're going to do a survival checklist because I will tell you, when you lose your spouse, and I have experienced this, and there are many people on this channel that have experienced it, or they have a spouse who's in the hospital having had a stroke, or has dementia, or all kinds of things that I've heard of from people on this channel. So when your spouse dies, it's shocking, it's paralyzing, it's heartbreaking. I mean, I don't have to tell you. I mean, it's you just can't, it's unbelievable. It's not real. It doesn't feel real. Well, it didn't feel real for me. But you need to prepare for that time. I think I told you I was working and my husband was retired because we sold our campground. And I used to come home from work and I used to resent having to work because, well, he was retired. But I was almost 6 years younger than him. I was 5 years younger. So it wasn't right. And I used to say, when can I retire? And he used to say, just a little more, just a little more. And so I did finally retire, but when I came home, he would be sitting there listening to beautiful music, and he would have a cocktail in his hand. And I used to say to myself, what the heck is he doing all day? Well, it was supper time. It was relaxing time. I didn't get home until like 5:30, 5:45. He was working all day too. But I wasn't there to see it. But I'll tell you what. I sure learned quick enough all the things that he used to do. And he used to do a lot. I've told you before that he did everything for me. He treated me like the Queen of Sheba. And he sheltered me. I'm not angry with him because I loved every minute of it. And when he was gone, initially I had my kids, everybody's around the first week or so, and then you're all by yourself. And it is shocking. It's shocking. But you have got to figure out what each other does. And so what I want to talk about is like in nursing, when I worked in nursing, we used to call them procedure books. You have a procedure for everything. There's a certain way you turn on the dishwasher. There's a certain way you change a bandage in the nursing home. There's the same way you change a catheter. Step by step, what do you do? We used to watch TV, and on our TV, with our TV, we have a dish, satellite dish for TV. We have a receiver that's hooked up to speakers. We have a DVD player. Plus, I have one subscription. I have Netflix, and I have Amazon Prime, and I have YouTube. And we used to sit there and we'd watch TV. And I would say to him, I feel so bad now that I used to say this. if anything happens to you, I'm not even going to be able to know how to turn on the TV. So you know what he did? He typed out a step-by-step instructions on how to turn on the TV, how to get to the special channels that we watched. And I was so grateful after he was gone that I had that. I'm not kidding. We had 3 or 4 remotes, and I had no clue, no concept of how that worked. Now I still have 3 remotes and I have no problem with it. But he wrote down the directions for me, so he left me that when he passed away. So what you need to do is you need to have a household operations manual or a procedure book. Every couple has specific jobs they do, specific responsibilities that they are responsible for in the home. So what you need to do is figure out who does what and how they do it. And you should write it down and make a procedure book. Because when one of you is gone, suddenly the other one is in charge of everything. Everything. And it is shocking, stunning, I don't know, I can't think of any other words, but I think you get the message. It's a jolt to your system if you've been taken care of like I was. I know that there's some people, some of the wives do all the work. I know that. We're all different, and I say that. We're all different. We grew up in different households. Our husbands or our wives grew up in different households. Maybe we don't have a spouse, so you don't have to worry about this because you're already responsible for anything. But we're not talking morbid stuff. We're just talking about being smart and being prepared. And let's be honest, the love of your life may take some secrets to the grave that you'll never be able to figure out, like the password to the Wi-Fi or something like that. So we're going to go over a real life survival kit. Yeah, a real life survival kit. So I'm just going to talk about, I'm going to try to go through it very quickly because I know you prefer when I do stand-up comedy. But there's not too much that's funny about this. But do you all know how to turn on the TV? Do you? I bet that there's some of you that don't. That you don't understand how the TV is connected to the receiver, is connected to the dish box. You don't understand. Do you have a computerized thermostat? Who's in charge of the thermostat? Is the thermostat digital? How do you reset it? So if the one spouse is responsible for the thermostat and has been all along, the other spouse doesn't know how to do it, to change the temperature. You need to write that down. I'm not talking elaborate things. I'm talking about step 1, 2, 3. Easy. When we're done, we're going to have a love booklet, a booklet of love that we're handing to our loved one, our partner. How about, now everybody knows how to use a washing machine, right? Not everybody knows how to use a washing machine. Not everybody knows how to use the washing machine that's in your house the way you have been using it for the last 50 years. So the person who is left behind needs instructions. You wash everything on cold. You wash most everything on a regular cycle. You separate the laundry by colors, or like in my case, you do one load of wash a week. That's it. And you don't separate the colors. You wash with cold water, or you wash with hot water, or you put bleach in every load. We are all different. And if she does the laundry all the time, she needs to let you know how you do it. You know how to push buttons. It's not that complicated. But I'm serious, it's those little things. If your clothes smell really nice, then you need to know, what detergent does she use or he use? I want to make sure I don't shrink my sweaters. So here's a little tip. In a small notebook, while you're both here and you're both together, just write down those little procedures. TV, black remote first, then the gray remote, then the white remote. And what button you push. Turn the TV on with the black remote, then go to the next one. When I am done for the night, I put the remotes in the order that they're used. So whoever comes after me, hopefully they can figure out. Because I'm not going to do one of those things. Because my kids are like super duper technical people. I promise you that it'll help you later on when you really need it. Like me having a step-by-step procedure on how to turn the TV on, and I am not kidding about that. That is a true story. How about a financial treasure map? We talked about all that other stuff, the advance directive, all that stuff. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the nitty-gritty stuff. Who pays the bills? How do you pay the bills? Do you write checks? Is it all online? How do you get to the bank if it's online? There may be one spouse who's very computer savvy and the other spouse says, I don't want to know anything about it. I don't know how to do that. And so you have everything on the computer, but the other spouse doesn't want to have anything to do with it. So what's going to happen to that other spouse if the other spouse passes away? Right? I mean, it's not funny. You need to know the logins for the accounts. I showed you my password book. It's ridiculous. But if I don't ever organize it, my kids will still be able to have access. They will know what the password is to get into the bank account and stuff like that. But you need to have that in one place so that it makes it easier for the one left behind. Credit cards. Who pays the credit cards? What's the credit card limit? Do you even know? Do you have a loan? Or are you paying for your car? Like I lease my car. What's the payment? How do you pay it? When's it due? That sort of stuff. Do you have a safe deposit box? You know what? I pay for a safe deposit box. I have a safe deposit box key on my chain. I was at the safe deposit box one time after my husband passed away. I have not been back. I know that the safe deposit box are stored in a different bank than originally. I have no clue where it is. And I have no clue what's in it. I think I better find out. It's probably nothing in it because I think we took most of it out, but I'm paying for it. So maybe I should either put something in it or take some, or not be paying for it. I don't even know where it is. I'm just calling this to your attention. So if your safe deposit box key, that key is so important, is taped behind like a clock or something, and only one person knows, that's not going to work. Write it down where you find it, because you're not going to feel like having a treasure hunt in the middle of a crisis. And a safe deposit box is something that you need to get into, because you don't know what's in there unless you know what's in there. And then there's the digital jungle. And we've talked about this. This is the one that sneaks up on people, our digital lives. And back in the day, you just needed the keys to the Buick. Now you need 27 passwords, a fingerprint, a photo. You need your firstborn to get into your phone nowadays. So you need to know all your email logins. But we've really talked about that. But if you have streaming services, if you have Netflix, if you have Amazon Prime, well, if you have YouTube, I was thinking Yahoo. They have logins. You have a login name and you have a password. So who signed up for these things? What's the login name? And what's the password? Some passwords need to be changed every 6 months, which I think is the stupidest thing. When is it due to be changed? And how do you change it? I had a hard time figuring out how. All of a sudden, I couldn't get voicemails on my home phone, my landline. It said my password expires. It expires every 90 days, every 120 days. Well, I didn't know that. No one told me that. Well, try to figure out how to change your password once your account is shut down, because your password was expired. Everything is complicated. Everything. Nothing goes smoothly. So the more that you can fix it, the better off you'll be. Is there anything important that's stored on the computer? A letter to your children. A lot of people scan all their important papers and put them in a file on their computer. So you need to know. Then who to call? Well, you need the plumber, the electrician, the handy repair, because most likely only one person has been dealing with these home maintenance problems. They know who to call or who they've called before. If you have a lawn service, snow removal, pet care, groomer, accountant, attorney, and insurance agent. Well, when my husband passed away, we did have an accountant because we had a business. And that took a few years to transition out of that tax bracket or whatever it is. I still don't understand. But we had an accountant. I don't need an accountant anymore. We had a lawyer. I have a lawyer now that is going to handle or help my children with my estate. I have an insurance agent that all my insurance is through. But if there's two of you and one of you takes care of all that stuff, maybe the other one doesn't know that you have a different insurance agent for your house and a different one for your car. Or you've bundled them together. So, you see what I'm talking about? Then make a love binder. Oh, who to call? I haven't done it. I was just going to say I have been. A few years ago, I started trying to prepare to make it easier for my children. I did the will and all that stuff, and I also started a file. What to do with this, where to find that. And I even started a little obituary. I mean, I want them to tell the world, you know. When I cleaned out the shed, I did a lot of decluttering. I also labeled all the boxes, and I left notes inside the boxes of totes, the totes. This was your dad's grandfather's things. I would like blah, blah, blah to have these and be responsible for deciding what to do with them. Or, this was your dad's chess set. I know that two of you like to play chess. Work it out amongst yourself. Who gets the chess set? Things that were important to me that I didn't want them to throw away, I told them why they were important to me, but they could make the decision on what to do. So, stuff like that. But the other thing that's important to me is, do your children know that you have special friends on YouTube? Do your children know how to get into your YouTube channel so that they could notify your community if you have a stroke or if you're not able to do your channel anymore? What about your best friend in the town that you grew up in that no one knows about but you? What about your nursing school? Maybe you're not that friendly with any of them, but they would love to know so that they can keep their records straight, right? What about a contact for your high school? Now, you'd probably say, I don't care about any of that stuff, but it's common courtesy. Now, I have friends that my kids wouldn't necessarily think to notify. Well, so I intend to have a list because I want people to know if something happens to me. And now you are all my dear friends. I want you to know. Nothing's happened to me. I'm not sick or anything. The mastectomy came back negative, and the bone density test came back that my left hip density is worse. What have I been talking about? My left hip hurts. I don't know if it hurts when you have osteoporosis. And then they said, keep doing your large bone exercises and taking your calcium. Well, how do you do those weight-bearing exercises when you can't stand the pain? I don't know. I'm just saying. Where are all your important documents? Where are the wills and all that stuff? Password lists and key locations. Sometimes you have two keys. You have a front door and a back door, and you only have the key to the front door. Well, where are the other keys? I don't know how to unlock my patio door from the outside. I don't know where that key is. So, losing a spouse, losing a significant other, losing a roommate can be one of the hardest things that you can face. But being prepared doesn't mean that you're giving up or that you expect them to, I'm going to say a crude word, croak tomorrow. It means that you love each other, that you care about each other, and you are trying to make the road ahead a little smoother for your loved ones, just a little smoother, because it's going to be painful enough. And hey, the worst that can happen is you'll learn how to use the remote to turn on the TV. That's a good thing. It's one less stressor, because you are now going to have stress that you didn't have before. Not only grieving, but the stress of being responsible for all these things. So go on and start your binder or your procedure book or your notebook or whatever you want to call it, and thank each other later. I hope that you didn't turn this off when I started talking about this, because these are the little things. It's in the details that you can get lost. So, go and do it. Now we'll go back to our funny things. This is part 2. I will see you tomorrow.